Hello, Scorpio. This is your horoscope for December 2023. As we start out the month here, the focus is definitely on your second house. So it looks like you are hustling a lot. You're very much focused on supporting yourself. So maybe working more, perhaps making more money. But it looks like you're also spending more money as well. There could be some pretty big expenditures for you. And that's something that actually developed in the end of November, but it's going to continue into December. So basically making more money, but spending more money as well. And you could be spending money on a range of things, but especially anything that kind of supports you or supports, the pleasure of life. That's where you could be investing money, but also just kind of random expenditures as well. Mercury is entering Capricorn as we start this month. So basically, that means that you are busier in your community, maybe kind of branching out more. You may be communicating a lot with kind of just the people that you would see on a regular basis. So people that we would typically talk to a lot, friends, neighbors, coworkers, acquaintances, siblings. This is who we would typically communicate with or connect with, but you are maybe spending more time than usual with those different connections as we start out this month, branching out more, meeting new people perhaps, or, becoming generally busier in those areas. As we start the month, Venus will be in your 12th sign back in, Libra. So this is kind of difficult. This does indicate that you may be valuing more time spent alone, and it may be kind of difficult for you to connect with your own kind of pleasure, the pleasure of life, the abundance, the charisma for you may just not be there. That's not going to last very long though, because pretty early in the month, Venus will enter your sign, so that's going to completely change the dynamic there. We'll talk about what that means when we get there. But that's pretty much the gist of the main focus for the month. So at this point, I wanted to go through the month and talk about some key dates of some changes that we can expect, and I'll talk about what to expect for you personally. So the first change, the first event is something we've already mentioned. So that would be Friday, December 1st. This is where Mercury leaves Sagittarius and enters Capricorn. So again, this shows that, from now on going forward, you're really busying yourself with those daily connections, those casual connections. You may be busier with short distance travel through your community or nearby towns or cities, what have you. There's just generally a kind of busyness there, and also again kind of branching out into those casual friendships, relationships, etc. A general busyness there. For December 4th, this is where Venus leaves Libra and enters Scorpio. This is good news for you. It's definitely a nice transit to have, a benefic like Venus transiting your own sign. This means that really for the majority of the next month, because Venus will spend most of December in Scorpio, for most of this month, you're going to be enjoying Venus's energy. So you're going to come across more charismatic than normal, and it's going to be easier for you to connect with the pleasure and the desire in your life. So that whole energy of pleasure, desire, abundance, you're just kind of immersed in it. You're kind of feeling yourself. So enjoy that for sure. This is a really fun and easy transit to experience. And again, that's going to take up most of the month here. For December 6th, Neptune turns direct at 24 degrees Pisces. So Neptune is turning direct in your 5th house. This means that when it comes to your creative projects, your self-expression, you may be experiencing an increased delusion and confusion going forward. And this will last for the next several months. But on the other hand, there could be enlightenment. There could be, spirituality or intuition coming through your creative projects as well. So it's kind of just a mix. It's kind of a blur. If you have any creative projects that do tap into some kind of intuition or spirituality, those could be really empowered right now. But again, on the other hand, you could be totally confused with something having to do with your creative self-expression. You may be lost in it. There could be a delusion that's there as well. This will be especially strong for you because Neptune is loosely trining any placements you have in Scorpio. If you have any placements around 24 degrees Scorpio, there's going to be a trine forming between Neptune turning direct and those placements around, again, 24 degrees Scorpio. So again, Neptune can make things confusing and delusional, but this is a trine, so this is relatively harmonious. Neptune in Pisces is all about, fantasy and emotion and spirituality. But you are Scorpio, you are a water sign, so you can kind of tap into this realm fairly well. So I see this playing out fairly well for you. It does look more challenging for most of the other signs, but for you, you're just tapping into this kind of spiritual, kind of creative energy with your creative self-expression, basically, going forward. For December 12th, there's a new moon happening at 20 degrees Sagittarius. This really indicates the potential for something new going on with your income and how you support yourself. So maybe kind of revitalizing or transforming the way you make money, the way you support yourself, something having to do with your work. You could be maybe getting a new form of income or changing an existing form of income. This could also be a time of increased expenditures as well. So maybe making a big purchase right now, or choosing an investment, an area that you would like to spend more of your money in. So again, it's some kind of change or new beginning involving new income, but also new expenditures as well, and that whole kind of dynamic there. So my only advice would be kind of just go over what are your intentions with, how you support yourself. Much of it is financial, but in other ways as well, how are you supporting yourself with your time, energy, money, etc. That's what this is all about. For December 13th, this is where Mercury turns retrograde at 8 degrees Capricorn. So again, going back to this kind of social part of your life, the short distance travel, the busyness, you're kind of taking a step back from all that now. There's some kind of need to kind of remove yourself from the situation, and you're kind of re-examining things. So you're re-examining, what are these relationships in my life, these friendships, these connections, does it really feel like me? Are these really empowering me? Am I empowering them? Is this all balanced? You may feel a need to just kind of step away from all that in order to just kind of process this whole part of your life and just see if it's really what you truly want. And there could also be information coming up from your area, neighborhood, city, etc. Something coming up from the past. There could be past friends, past acquaintances coming into your life at this point as well. So again, this is just bringing up a lot of themes that it's kind of making you think. It's making you process a lot, basically, as we go forward. Last thing about that too, you may be deciding to involve yourself more with certain connections. Again, coworkers, neighbors, etc., friends, siblings. These relationships, you may be pulling away from some of them, but you may also be choosing to involve yourself more with others. There's just a change there. There's a potential for some kind of flux. For December 22nd, and I know I gave a different date in some of my other horoscopes. It really just depends on your time zone. But for Eastern Standard Time, December 22nd is where Sun enters Capricorn. So this signals the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice in the southern. And also with Sun entering Capricorn, it's just a huge change in the focus, okay? So for you, this indicates an increased focus on that short distance travel, that busyness, the involvement with your community, friendships, acquaintances, coworkers, etc., etc. There's more of a focus there, more of a busyness there. That's where your energy is. That's where your power is going forward, etc. That's basically what that means for the next month. For December 23rd, this is where Mercury does the opposite of what the Sun just did. So Sun just entered Capricorn. Mercury's still retrograde, so it just left Capricorn and entered Sagittarius again. So basically, there's some kind of unfinished business. For you, it has to do with your income, how you're supporting yourself, maybe past expenditures that you've made or current expenditures that you're making. There's something going on here that you haven't fully processed, you haven't fully appreciated or been aware of, and that's totally fine. But this process is here to help you kind of, it's helping pull up some of these issues for you to examine and to look at. So going forward with Mercury retrograde in this area, this is an excellent time for reevaluating, those income sources, reevaluating your expenditures as well. Do these truly work in your best interest? Are there better choices that you could make, better situations that you could involve yourself in financially, etc.? These are the questions that are kind of coming up for you to look at. For December 26th, we've got a full moon in Cancer at 4 degrees. Moon at 4 degrees Cancer will be opposing Sun at 4 degrees Capricorn. So it's really highlighting not just Cancer, but also the whole Capricorn Cancer axis. So for you, this is your third ninth house axis. So this is really supporting you in branching out, asking the bigger questions. You may be more interested in metaphysics and, philosophy and, branching out, learning about your world, basically. This could be an excellent time to explore. So maybe for long distance travel or for learning some kind of new concept, etc. This is really helping support you in being a little bit more open and adaptable, more adventurous, more optimistic, branching out, etc. Pay special attention if you have any placements around 4 degrees Scorpio, because if you do, they're going to be trining this full moon and sextiling the sun at the same time. But whether you have placements around there or not, I do think this full moon is very harmonious for you. So as usual, you're gonna get the normal full moon craziness, the chaos, etc. But again, it's aligned in a part of your chart that is relatively harmonious. So I do think you can kind of use this to your advantage. And again, maybe just be a little bit more open or adventurous than you typically would be. For Friday, December 29th, this is where Venus finally leaves your sign and enters Sagittarius. So yes, it is unfortunate. Venus will no longer be bestowing upon you all this pleasure and charisma and whatnot. However, Venus moving into the second sign from you is not a bad place to have it either, because again, this is your zone of finance, incomes, also expenditures if they have to do with supporting yourself, right? So Venus in this area is bringing about that pleasure and abundance to your income and to how you support yourself. So again, that's really an excellent place to have it. I wouldn't be surprised if your income increased for the time that Venus was in Sagittarius. But again, with placements in the second house like this, you may also be spending more money. You may be really aware of, different investment opportunities that indulge the senses or expand kind of the luxury of your life, so to speak. So basically the potential for more income, but also the potential for more expenditures, especially having to do with, increasing the enjoyment, the pleasure of life, etc. For Saturday, December 30th, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about here. This is where Jupiter turns direct at 5 degrees Taurus. This is your opposing sign, so this has to do with your relationships, your partnerships, etc. Any kind of one-on-one relationship or, romantic relationship, best friend, etc. With Jupiter turning direct here, there's some kind of abundance and expansion here. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're maybe meeting new people, especially meeting people that are very optimistic in nature, people that are very adventurous. You may kind of just be attracting those at this time and going forward for the next several months. This could also signify expansion in your current relationship. So maybe you are involving yourself more with certain partnerships. You may be enjoying those partnerships more as well, because Jupiter brings optimism. It brings that expansion. So it's showing there's this harmonious and kind of abundant energy in those partnerships for you going forward. Okay, and that's pretty much what I have for you. So honestly, it looks like a really powerful month for you. It looks like you are enjoying yourself. You're focusing on kind of changing, dynamics with how you relate to your community, as well as changing dynamics with how you make and spend your money. But other than that, there is a lot to process this month, but there's also a lot to enjoy as well. You can enjoy some of the power that's coming to you at this time. So I truly hope you have an excellent month. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.